Hey guys, it's Super Rad here, again bringing you a unscripted video. Hopefully you're going to enjoy it. I hope you do. They're super fun, right? Anyway, school is kicking my ass. I'm a full-time university student, as some of you know. I don't always have time to make a scripted video. They take a lot of research and time in order to put together. So today I'm gonna be doing a part 2 to the tier list that I did a couple weeks ago. A very apparently controversial tier list because some of you didn't like my reasoning for some of the monsters. Some of you thought I was very biased towards older generations in comparison to the designs of newer generations, but that's not it. It's just that the newer generation designs are kind of trash. That's totally okay, and it's not a big deal whatsoever, but I have the objective opinion in this scenario. I am right and you're wrong, and I'm pretty sure I'm still gonna be right and you're still gonna be wrong, unless you agree with me, in which then you're right, which is perfect, you know, no issues whatsoever. So feel free to like or dislike. This is just a fun little thing we're gonna do. Okay. All right, couple things to go over for this new tier list. There's a new level up there called Literally God, literally the best of the best. Anything that's above Smoke and Sexy Style should be going up there. It should be pretty simple to understand. And there's an I don't know category as well, where I pretty much just putting King Shakalaka and the Vespoid Queen there. They're very old generation and weird, and I've never really experienced them. We're gonna start things off with two of the bird wyverns from some of the older generations. We got Yankaku and we got blue Yankaku. There's not really much difference between them. One's blue, one's pink. I don't have a personal preference on their color, so we're gonna go ahead and just say this is cool. You know, there's nothing special about them. They're good introductory monsters. They do the job, and that's about it. That's about all you can really ask from them. Cephadrome, though, on thin ice, buddy. I don't like you. I don't like your fight. I don't like the desert. Your design, while simplistic, it's hard to see the features on you. It's just, you're gross. You're gross looking, and I am not a fan whatsoever, not at all. Arzaros showed up in what, Portable Third first, and then in 3 Ultimate. I like the design. I think it's cool. Now this is cool for sure, because, you know, it's a fun fight. It's a simplistic fight. Coming back in Rise, it looks like they added some more depth to his moveset, which I think is really cool. I like the fight. It's very simple. It's not overly difficult. What's Volvidon's thing besides being in a fire area? I think it can paralyze you. I'm gonna put it in cool enough, I guess. And later on into the game, you might be expecting a little bit more out of it. It has the tongue mechanic, I think, and it has paralysis, but Arzaros had a better design. I preferred the bear over the armadillo, so I'm gonna say cool enough, I guess, but nothing really wrong with it. You know, we're not gonna be putting it into On Thin Ice. There's nothing wrong with Volvidon. You know whose design I do like? Lagombi. Lagombi and Arzaros are like, you know, yin and yang. But Lagombi really cool. I love the scene in 3U where he's just belly sliding across like a bunch of glaciers and then comes in and fights you. Really cool design. Very similar to a bear, but it's more like, what would you say? Would you say it's a rabbit? Can't be a rabbit. He has long ears. Maybe a rabbit or hair or something. I feel like there's another animal that I'm forgetting. Let's just get the drones out of the way here. Where's Velocidrome? There he is. Classic. Out of all the drones, I think Velocidrome is almost perfect. I think every drone, and I'm gonna put them in the list right away. I think every drone after Velocidrome is like, now this is cool. They're cool designs, they're fun fights, nothing really going on with them. Nothing making them overly convoluted in their design, but nothing is as cool as the original. Velocidrome's one of the first ones you run into. I love the red on the blue. Zamtrios, let's talk about Zamtrios. Okay, Zamtrios, you know, apparently he's a frog shark. I thought he was just like a blowfish shark. I don't completely know the etymology or whatever on the monster, but I do like his design a lot. I like the ice armor thing. That's kind of one of the main reasons I gave Velkhana such a high tier, is because I like the ice armor mechanic, but he also has the additional mechanic of becoming huge. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and say now this is cool. You know what, we're gonna give him the benefit of the doubt here. Not quite almost perfect, but pretty cool monster, pretty cool fight. Yeah, and then I guess we can just talk about Tiger Stripe Zamtrios. I don't really have anything else to say. I like the original design better than the Tiger Stripe design. I think it's a desert fight at that point, and I don't like the desert, so we're just gonna go ahead and move him down a tier. Nothing completely wrong with him, just the color scheme change and the locale change didn't really do it for me. Gobul, oh my god, you guys thought I was biased towards 3rd generation monsters for whatever reason. I think mostly because I was giving older generation monsters a higher tier generally. Let me tell you, man, I'm gonna rename it to Gobul tier. People are gonna get mad about this, but it's Gobul tier now because Gobul is trash monster. I hate Gobul. Having been revisiting 3U currently, if underwater as a mechanic wasn't bad enough, imagine fighting the worst thing you could fight in there, and they somehow designed Gobul to be that. But yeah, it's Gobul tier now. It's not Goblin tier anymore, it's Gobul tier. That just shows how egregious that fight is. It's so awful. You know what? We're gonna put Kazu on thin ice, and you know why? It's because where's his OST? Where's his soundtrack? Where's his theme? They don't give it to him. You can't give him music. He's a walking uncircumcised penis. You couldn't even give this dude music. Whatever. I don't want to say garbage because I do like the fight, but something about fighting a walking penis in dead silence just is so unnerving for me. I like the design of Red Kazu a little bit more, so I'm gonna move him up. But yeah, just that one doesn't do it for me, man. I guess if we're talking about like-minded monsters, we can go into Giganox. I like Giganox a little bit more than Kazu. Fun fight in some ways, but it's so disgusting that I think what makes up for it is that its armor set is really cool, and a lot of the weapons that are designed off of Giganox are really cool. So yeah, not awful. And then Baleful Giganox, I'm just gonna put in the same tier. I don't like them as much as some people like them. I think a lot of people like them because they want them to come back. They're a monster that we haven't seen in a long time, and they want to see them come back, and I get that, but you know, having been especially refighting Giganox, and I'm sure fighting Kazu and Rise is gonna be atrocious. Yeah, they're kind of annoying, and their design entirely is gross. And I'm someone that likes nice things, not gross things, so we're gonna leave it at that. Okay, Congalala farts. That's it. You're done. Get out of here. Green Congalala also farts. Gone. Not a big fan. I might put Emerald Congalala on thin ice just because I like the color scheme a little bit better, but yeah, not a big fan. If we're gonna talk about monkeys, or I think they're monkeys. So are they monkeys? Are they apes? We're gonna have to talk about Blanganga. I love Blanganga, much cooler design. And I'm gonna move the copper Blanganga down a tier just because I'm not a huge fan of, again, when they take something that's like more tundra based and moving it over into like a warmer climate, that does something to me. It's weird, and I know, and this is like the 3rd time it's happened, and I'm not a fan. Stop it, Capcom. If you're making tundra monsters, just make a variant for that tundra monster that's still in the tundra. You did it with Barioth, and I moved him down to tier. Shit. Here, this keeps it consistent. You got Barioth at the top, you got his variant at the bottom, and you got his subspecies, which is a desert subspecies, Sand Barioth. And now this is cool. Moving on, we can talk about, let's see. Let's get the one of the best monsters, Gen Moran. We're gonna go ahead and say literally God. Gen Moran is what a siege mechanic should be. This is a siege mechanic at its finest. The fight on the ship in the desert, king shit. Best fight. Love that. Being able to climb on him, it was unheard of. You could climb on him, you could place barrel bombs on it. It was such a fantastic fight. And then at the end, when you go in and you face it head on in a showdown where it's just slowly coming towards you, and all you guys can do is push it back until it's dead or repelled, and then you still have to deal with the fact that you have to carve everything off of it, which is insane. Amazing fight. Literally God. One of the best parts of old gen Monster Hunter. And we're gonna go ahead and put its subspecies up there as well. I'm only going to put Darren a tier lower just because it's what's been done before, but a slightly redesigned fight. There's not many differences. It's a little bit boring to just redo a monster that you've done so well already. There's no point. So there you go. There's one of your first literally God monsters. I think I really think that Gen Moran is like one of the best fights in the game ever made. Will never get better than that for the majority of the series. I don't see them making a siege better than that unless they find a way to make sieges more interesting outside of World, because World just ruins sieges. I don't know if I've already said hot takes or if I haven't yet, but we're gonna talk about Ludroth, and I love Ludroth. I'm gonna say now, this is cool. I'm not gonna say almost perfect. I like the fight, but I will say purple Ludroth is, you know what, I was gonna put it in almost perfect, but I'm gonna put it in, now this is cool, because the name's wrong. It's not purple Ludroth, it's pink Ludroth. I don't like that they call it purple Ludroth. He looks pink to me. Some of you guys are gonna be calling me biased. Some of you guys are gonna be calling me biased towards 3rd gen, but you know what, Jaggy, out of every entry-level monster in the game, Jaggy is the coolest. Great Jaggy is one of the most iconic entry-level monsters in my opinion. I love him. I'm a big fan. For sure. And we're gonna leave him there. Baggy, not as cool, but we're gonna put it in smoke and sexy style. And Roggy, the poison mechanic really doesn't do it for me. We're gonna move it into almost perfect. All right, Kuropeko, I'm gonna move into now this is cool. I really like Kuropeko's design for the most part. I wouldn't say it's like it's amazing or anything. It's probably on the same tier as the Kutkus for me, Yan Kutku. But I would say that I like its mechanic a lot. I think it's really cool that it can call in other monsters using its cry. I think it can also like buff itself a little bit or something whenever it uses its cry if you let it get it off. Where's Crimson? Crimson Kuropeko, I'm gonna move up just because I like his design a little bit better. I like the color scheme a little bit better on that one. So I want to talk about them right now. We're gonna talk about Legaia Cruz, however you want to pronounce it. I say Legaia Cruz. We're gonna put Legaia Cruz in smoke and sexy style. And you're like, whoa, this man came out of you're like, whoa, this man came out of Gen 3 and he's putting Legaia Cruz in smoke and sexy style, not literally God. Well, if you follow me on Twitter, you would know that I was playing through Monster Hunter Stories, and you can actually get a Ivory Legaia Cruz in Monster Hunter Stories, and I actually named my Ivory Legaia Cruz literally God, because while some people might not like a land-based Legaia Cruz, I know they did Legaia Cruz dirty in Generations. In 3 Ultimate, it was kind of a blessing because the water mechanic is actually pretty egregious, having revisited it. I don't hate it, and I'm playing through 3U currently, and I think I have like a brand new 30 hours into it. So take me at my word here when I say that, like, yes, the land-based Legaia Cruz, just design-wise and fight-wise, is much better than the original Legaia Cruz. And if you want your water-based Legaia Cruz, it's still there. You got Abyssal Legaia Cruz. I would almost put it in literally God tier just because of the design is so cool, much more electric, the black color, the red eyes, very cool fight. Fantastic fight, and but you don't really get to fight it until like what, HR 70 or something like that. But the weapons, oh my god, the weapons are amazing. Bullfango or Bulldrome. You have something that people like almost like universally hate, like the Bullfangos, and then you're like, we're gonna make a Bulldrome, we're gonna make a bigger version of that. No, thank you. Gobul tier gone, literally garbage. Durambros. I don't like the fight that much, but I appreciate the design, so I'm gonna move it into now this is cool. I find the fight very long. He's a huge monster. But the ability to like spin around its giant mace tail and then throw itself up into the air and then land, which gives you all of these openings, cool enough. Cool enough, I guess. I just realized I have a tier for that. I'm gonna move him down. Basarios on thin ice, buddy. You and Ruby Basarios on thin ice. Where are they? I'm gonna move Gravios and Black Gravios up in like a tier because I like those fights a little bit better. I like how Black Gravios can just be so friggin' ginormous. I think it's amazing. But as a longsword main fighting walking rocks, we're basically forced to find like certain weak points, and otherwise we're just gonna be bouncing off the monster the entire fight, and it's just not fun. I didn't like it. I don't like fighting those guys whenever I have to. All right, Molten Tiger X, we're gonna go ahead and move up with all the other Tigrexes. Super cool monster. Just the fact that it has like, I think it has blast now. Fantastic design. You can't go wrong with Tigrex. Amazing monster. Plesioth, another. I don't know. I like Plesioth. I think a lot of people don't, mostly because of the hip check memes. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it in now. This is cool. See, this is how you take a fish and make it look somewhat unique in design in comparison to Cephadrome. I really like its design. I like its color scheme. Green Plesioth can go die. Not a big fan of Green Plesioth. Flyan, not a big fan of Green Plesioth. You know, if you heard him call Green Plesioth a son of a bitch. And I think my original history video, the first generation history video for Monster Hunter, you can hear us talk shit about Green Plesioth, so go check that out. Nebelsnarf. Nebelsnarf, let's go. I think a lot of people might not like Nebelsnarf for the same reasons that I don't like Gobul, but at the very least, with this thing, you don't have to go into the water, and that makes the fight immensely easier and much more fun. So I'm gonna go ahead and move him up a tier. But, you know, silly name, silly design, annoying when it goes under the sand in the desert, just not one of the better monsters to fight in Monster Hunter as a series. Monoblos, let's go. Hell yeah. And then we're gonna go ahead and put albino white Monoblos up there with black Diablos. One of my favorite monsters to fight in the older generations. I love them. They're hyper aggressive, super fun, fantastic monsters. And this is really getting fleshed out, isn't it? At this point, there are a lot of monsters in this series to go over, and we still have a lot more to go. So let's go ahead and move on to Gypsaros. I don't like his design, his bucktooth design. I think I can say cool enough, I guess, and I think I can just put purple Gypsaros right beside him. Something about his design and the flashes and the buck teeth, it just doesn't do it for me. I'm not a huge fan whatsoever. Hermitar and Shianatar go into the same rank for me. I'm gonna go ahead and put them in now. This is cool. Where's Shianatar? There he is. Boom. Carapaceons are such a cool and unique monster type that get like zero representation in this series. They deserve so much more. They're really cool. Their designs only got better with each iteration, in my opinion. We have Plum Daimyo Hermitar, which I'm gonna put in almost perfect. Anyway, yeah, Plum Daimyo Hermitar, one of my favorite designs, and I'm just gonna put Terra Shogun Shianatar, or whatever it's called, in the same rank as Shianatar, because I think Plum was really cool of a design change, but Terra didn't really do it for me. Let's talk about Agnaktor as I think it's considered a Leviathan, right? As a Leviathan, I think it was a really, really cool mechanic, but it suffers from that issue of like going into the ground and being in the ground for a long period of time before you can actually fight it or get back into the fight with it. So I'm gonna go ahead and put it in now. This is cool. I do like the design. I think it has like this cartoonish flair to it, and really accentuates like the giant beak. And we're gonna go ahead and put Glacial Agnaktor there with him. We could talk about Serengios, one of the flagships or the flagship of Monster Hunter 4 Ultimate. I honestly think that it's almost perfect. It was such a unique, no, not almost perfect. Smokin' sexy style. Serengios is so cool. It came with a brand new mechanic of letting us be able to, like, you know, sharpen our weapons when we roll. The armor set is so cool. His design is so cool. The bleed mechanic, whatever. If you don't like it, you don't like it, but I thought it was a cool ailment. And just as a flying wyvern, he looks so intimidating. It's fantastic. I love him. We're gonna go ahead and put him in Smokin' Sexy style. I don't have much to say about the Quetzalcoatlus. You run into them pretty early. Their design isn't egregious in any way, so I'm gonna say cool enough, I guess. Both of them are in cool enough, I guess. They don't really do anything special for me. Or Najarala. I actually really like that fight. I'm gonna put it in almost perfect. It was such a cool design for a fight. It's this giant snake wyvern. It goes and wraps itself around you. You can jump over it to make sure that it can't trap you and I think paralyze you or something like that. It has the ability to send out its scales and cause like these blasts of sonic waves. I actually have to say that I don't have an opinion on Amatsu, and that might surprise you guys, but I've never actually played through Portable Third. I plan to, probably after I go through 3U again. I'm gonna put Dire Morales in cool enough, I guess. I think the idea of the fight being, you know, like kind of land-based, kind of water-based, and he's just this giant colossal creature, I think that's pretty cool, and I really enjoyed that. I'm kind of on a roll here because Gogmazios, not one of the better fights for me, I remember. I remember it being more fun than Dire Morales, and I remember playing for you and finally getting into it with my friends and having a really fun time fighting it, but like its design isn't anything crazy to me. It reminds me of Valhazak, and I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in now. This is cool. Jade Baroth, you know, like I said, Baroth was cool enough, I guess, but like Jade Baroth is the cooler Baroth. Hypnocatrice, you know what? I've actually got enough experience with it and footage for it when doing the Frontier videos that I think that it was a really fun fight. I really liked its design. I think it was a cool bird wyvern. Where did I put it? I'm gonna put it up with Yankuku and Blue Yankuku actually. Malfestio, garbage. I don't want to hear anybody complain about me putting Malfestio in Gobul tier. I really dislike that fight. I was not a big fan of the fight whatsoever. I haven't moved on to Deviants yet, but I'm just gonna go ahead and find Nightshade Malfestio or whatever it's called, Nightcloak Malfestio, and Gobul tier. I don't have really anything to say about Rust Durambros. I haven't actually experienced it in a long time. I like its design, like color-wise, but mechanically I think it's pretty much on the level with Durambros, so we're gonna go ahead and put it there. Laoshan Lung, your opinion of it probably depends on which generation you fought it in the most. I think it's a really cool fight. I think it's a really cool siege, and I'm actually gonna put, if I can find it here, and I'm actually gonna put Shen Gaoren up there too. Where did I just put him? Yeah, now this is cool. And Ashen Laoshan Lung as well, because I don't think there were many differences. When you fight him in like the middle generations, it's a more enjoyable fight. It's much more manageable. I think you can fight him in Generations Ultimate as well. It's a pretty fun fight at that point. It was awful in like the first generations, and has really come a long way in terms of design and just being made a little bit better overall thanks to quality of life improvements. Orochi Kirin, get fucked. I hate you. I hate you. I hate Kirin. You're done. That one's pretty self-explanatory, right? Like, we all know why. Tetsukabra. I love Tetsukabra, and you know what? Baby Tetsukabra really like bumped it up for me coming in Rise, so we're gonna go ahead and put it in Almost Perfect. I hope it shows up in Rise. I mean, there's a baby Tetsukabra. There's probably gonna be Tetsukabras that we hunt, right? Celtis and the Celtis Queen. I think that mechanic is pretty friggin' cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in Almost Perfect, but I'm putting them in as a pair. If it was just the Celtis, I would move it down. I guess I could just do that then, right? Like, that's just the Celtis, it's moved down one. But I think when it's the Celtis Queen and it has a Celtis with it and it uses it to like basically do like a Power Rangers, like Mighty Morphin, like transform, I love that they become like a Megazord. But you know what? I gotta move. That means I have to move Celtis Queen, the desert variant down, or the desert subspecies down one, and the Celtis down one. Let's see. Rusted Kushala. Where am I gonna put you? Where did I put Kushala? Where did I put Kushala? I'm just gonna put them in the same. I don't like the Kushala fight that much. Like, I think their design is cool, and I think the design of Rusted Kushala is really cool as well. The Fatalis fight got a lot better in World. I think it's one of the things that World did really well was reworking the Fatalis fight. But I think the Crimson Fatalis fight was always a lot of fun, and I think the White Fatalis fight was especially cool. So we're gonna go ahead and put that in now. This is cool. I'm not gonna get into crazy details why I feel that way. I haven't fought the Fatalises in a long time, but I do remember really appreciating the White Fatalis fight a lot. And I think the cutscene where it's introduced to you is really cool as well. All right, Berserk Tetsukabra. I'm gonna go ahead and put him up there with the normal Tetsukabra. Mechanically, not too much is different about them. I think that they're both really cool monsters, and I like their designs a lot, but they're not quite up in smoking sexy style. You know, with the kings. We hit a lot of them within the Monster Hunter World tier list, and that's understandable. Let's see. We got Green Narghakuga. Oh no, I put it in Almost Perfect. I'm gonna move it down just because I think the color scheme's kind of lame. I don't really have much to say about the fight, but let's go ahead and move the variant up to right beside it because I think the variant's color scheme is fantastic. Ooh, I like it. You know, I don't know what it is, man. Generations Ultimate really like peaked with like some of the silly monster designs, and I think a jet dragon is almost perfect. It's not super smoke and sexy style just because it's so outrageous. It's ridiculously outrageous. I'm gonna put a Cantor and Eucanalos in the same cool enough, I guess. I wasn't a big fan of their fights. They're not particularly interesting fights in my opinion, but they are there. There's nothing too wrong about them. I like their armor sets. I like their weapons. Literally God, Mizutsune. You know what? Yeah, I know I gave some of the World and Iceborne designs the shaft in this tier list so far, but we can literally go one generation backwards and see a literally God design. Mizutsune is the pinnacle of design. I think it's like a bubble fox. That is so cool. I love foxes. I love the armor sets that they make. They're very Japanese. I'm a weeb. I use longsword. Like, come on, like it's amazing. I even at one point, and you can go back and look in some of the previous videos, but I used a visual mod that gave me the Mizutsune longsword just because I liked it so much. Gormagala, literally God. What? How do you do this? How do you take Shadow the Hedgehog How do you take the edginess of Shadow the Hedgehog and put it into a monster before Unknown from Monster Hunter Frontier is even around? I mean, Unknown probably existed before, but in mainline we got Gormagala, the edgiest monster in Monster Hunter in my opinion, and with one of the coolest mechanics. If Mitsutsune and Gormagala didn't have their mechanics, they would be so much less interesting to me. Mitsutsune's mechanic where if you get hit by it once, it's a buff, but if you get hit by it twice, it's a debuff. Love that. Gormagala's mechanic where your debuff will start to build up, but if you manage to deal enough damage, it becomes a buff. So cool. They were trying so many new and cool things in those generations, and it worked. It was so awesome. I really enjoy those monsters. I'm gonna go ahead and just put Shigaro and Chaotic Gormagala down in Smoke and Sexy style. I think Gormagala hit it out of the park, and I don't think you can do better than that. But Shigaro is really cool, and Chaotic is really cool. And Chaotic's mechanics on the weapons are always very interesting. I really enjoyed those. We've done some of the Fated 4. Let's go ahead and get Gammoth out of the way. I'm gonna put it in now. This is cool. It's huge, but it's slow. There's nothing really crazy about it. I'm actually gonna move its Deviant into the same rank. I don't really care about it or its Deviant. We're just gonna leave them there. Chameleos, garbage. Gobul tier. Don't yell at me about that one. It's Gobul tier. It should be pretty self-explanatory why that is the case. This is Lucent Narghakuga, and this is the Silverwind Narghakuga. You guys gotta give me a break here because I haven't actually done too many of the Deviants. Like, not as many as I should have at this point. I haven't really done too many of them except for Rustrazor Shianatar, who is a very fun fight. So we're gonna go ahead, and I like his design so much more than the typical Shianatar. So we're gonna put it in almost perfect. I think it's one of the coolest Carapacians in the game. Super fun, love it. Dread King Rathalos, I'm just gonna put it up there with the Rathalos, and same with the Rathian variant, unfortunately. And the Deadeye Yangaruga, you know, that's basically just Scarred Yangaruga. We already had that. We're just gonna go ahead and put it up there. I think Astalos is such a cool flying wyvern. I'm actually gonna put it in almost perfect because it's the first time that we got such a big flying wyvern that almost looks like an insect. I thought that was really awesome that we got something like that. And Bolt Reaver Astalos I'm gonna put right up there with it, just because when it powers up and it gets that crazy energy horn, I thought that was so cool. That was fantastic. Thunderlord Zinogre, I think that's a really cool variant of Zinogre. Just the way that it looks visually within the game itself is super cool, and I'm gonna go ahead and put it up there. Grimclaw Tigrex, you gotta throw it up there with the boys. Throw them up there with the boys. Mechanically, I don't have much to say, but the design is fantastic. The giant blue veiny claws, love that. Lagambi, what is it, Snow Baron Lagambi? Again, mechanically, I don't have much to say, but it looks cool, and it looks like Lagambi, so we can go ahead and put them beside one another. Drill Tusk Tetsukabra, that's what it's called, right? Drill Tusk Tetsukabra. Where are they? They're all in the same rank. They're all in the same rank. Where did I put Tetsukabra? Yeah, like they're all cool, but they don't do anything especially different that I would want to move them around. Same with Soulseer Mitsutsune. I'm gonna go ahead and put it down in Smoke and Sexy style, only because Mitsutsune is literally God. You know what? For that reason, I'm actually gonna move Hollow Degenmoran down a rank as well. I think literally God should be saved for one version of that monster, you know, either the original species, a rare species, a subspecies, whatever. Let's see, what else do we got? We got Nursella, Temnoceron, right? Temnoceron. And we're going to go ahead and say, now this is cool. Spider's really cool. We have not gotten enough of them. They got the shaft in Monster Hunter. Not a big fan of that. Hope that we get to see more. It looks like Rise is going to be introducing a new Temnoceron to us, so I'm really excited for that. And Shrouded Nursella is going to go up there with the original Nursella. The Deviant for Arzaros, we're going to go ahead and move up. And with Arzaros, the Deviant for Bloodbath Diablos. I wish I could put it in literally God because the design is so cool. But to be fair, I have not fought it enough to really be able to have an opinion on it to move it up there. I think the design is so fantastic. Maybe I will revisit this at some point after I fought it a little bit more and I can move it up or down if I feel like it. Where are the Hermitars now? See, now I've lost everything. It's hard to keep track of everything on here. No, he's definitely down here. Yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and put him there. I guess we can talk about Shadius, however you want to pronounce it. I'm gonna put it in Smoke and Sexy style, and I'm actually going to move the Goldbeard version up there too. I think they were such unique fights in the game. If anything made underwater bearable, it was Lagiacruz, the fight of Lagiacruz and the fight of Shadius, because they are just so much fun to take part in. So we have Steel Uragon. I don't really have too much to say about that one either. Unfortunately, I'm gonna go ahead and put it up with the normal Uragon, and then we have Crystal Beard. We'll just put them all up in the same rank, unfortunately. A lot of these ones are getting ranked based off of my lack of knowledge for them, but their designs are pretty cool, similar to Uragon, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put them into the same tier. Glaviness, Hellblade Glaviness. Let's go ahead and move him up with the typical Glaviness that you would see, which is in Smoke and Sexy style. I love the new design that they gave him for those fights. I actually fought him a couple times, so I'm able to like have more of an opinion on that. And then we're gonna go ahead and talk about Nardrella. Nardrella is a very, very cool subspecies, or I'm pretty sure it's a subspecies of Nardrella. I'm gonna go ahead and put it in now. This is cool, but I really like the fight. I like that it's set in the tundra. I like that it gets the water blight mechanic. I thought it was really cool, and I really enjoyed the color scheme. For Yamasukami, wow, I completely slipped my mind on that one. I'm gonna have to put it in, I don't know. I've honestly not spent enough time fighting Yamasukami. I think I will move it. I think I'll put it in cool enough, I guess. It's just so different. I'm actually gonna put it in On Thin Ice. On Thin Ice seems fair to me. Some of you might really like Yamasukami, and I understand that, but it's just such a different, and it's such a different design that doesn't really fit in at all with the other designs of the monsters, in my opinion, and mechanically doesn't fit in at all either. I don't know what I could tell you about Dalamadur really, other than like the fight was, it was cool, it was unique for what it was. I think it's considered an Elder Dragon, so it was fun. The scale was there. I'm gonna go ahead and say this was cool, and its subspecies is basically right beside it. I don't remember there being major differences between the two of them other than the colors. I think both color schemes are pretty interesting. And the cutscene, oh my god, the cutscene in Monster Hunter 4 was so cool when you actually run into it for the first time. It's so daunting, not realizing like how you're actually going to be able to fight this and then slowly learning the fight as you go. I thought that was a lot of fun. Narghakuga, we're going to move up there into, now this is cool. I thought like, its arena was super, super cool, super unique. It's like full of bones. It brings in that new ailment where you can be like covered in bones. It's a unique type of monster. It's like a cephalopod. It's considered an elder dragon, but it looks like a cephalopod. When it comes out and it shows that it has its real head, you're shook. It really intimidating fight. I really enjoyed it, and all in all, I think that it fits up there. And now this is cool, but not quite almost perfect. Not for me. I don't feel like I have a lot to say about Altal Ka. I don't know if you guys remember, but when the trailer came out for Altal Ka, or when we saw it in one of the Monster Hunter 4 trailers, or Generations trailers, there was a lot of people thinking that it was Equal Dragon Weapon because it looked like it was a bunch of an amalgamation of different things to make a monster. In reality, it was really Altal Ka, as we know, being able to use its string in order to take a bunch of like buildings and turn them into a giant monster, or a giant puppet if you want. So that's a really unique mechanic. It's an open siege. You can climb on top of it. And I did have a lot of fun with the fight. And I think like that's one that I would have a hard time getting tired of if I had to really grind it. Its weapons look really cool. They have like this Egyptian style to them, I think. The gold scythe is the longsword. And you know what? Like almost perfect for me. Almost perfect. I think that's it. Yep, that's it. Let's take a look at what we got here. It was quite the journey. Other than the Valhazak that's missing here, I'm pretty sure this is every monster. And again, if I missed one, I'm sorry. This is just based on what was available in the tier maker. This was the best one I could find. And I hope you enjoyed it. If you have issues with my opinion, please let me know in the comments, or follow me on Twitter and let me know there. Be sure to subscribe and like for more videos. And I will have a new weapon video the week after this one, hopefully, as long as school doesn't completely destroy my mental health. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. And I will see you in the next video. Just kidding. Let me wait. I just want to make sure you can see all of it. You can see all of it there, right? Basically, look, wait. Literally that's all of it. Okay. Sorry, Amatsu.
に焼けました。